Last video, we pre-sold enough beef to buy a steer. Then we had it processed, brought the beef back to the farm, and that's where we left off. This video, I'm gonna show you how we fulfilled those pre-sale orders. Then we're gonna show you how we inventoried the rest of the beef. We're gonna go over all the numbers of the cost. We got our processing invoice back, what it costs to ship and dry ice and all those different things. I got these numbers right here. And then finally, we'll show you the next steps and how we plan in order to pull $1,000 profit from the beef we have left. So without further ado, let's go through the numbers. Total sales so far on this animal, $2,728. So that's our green. Now let's get into the red. So we bought the animal for $26.50. Already our margins are pretty tight. Then we shipped out our beef. The UPS cost was $179.88. Dry ice was $166.36. And our boxes were free. We'll tell you how we did that later. But I will be honest with you, typically boxes will cost you around $20 a piece to $30 a piece. So if you're doing this at home and you're trying to figure out what it would cost, just figure about $25 a box. We had 5 big orders. Each order was 2 boxes. So you'd be about another $250 into boxes. We found an alternative route. We'll do a video on that later. Then our processing came in. Now, I'll be honest with you, we have dipped below zero. So we started at 0, we were below 0. We have a plan though. Processing was $965.50. So, not sure what the number is, we'll put it right here. We are in the negative. So for challenge sake, we did start with $0. And let's assume you have a credit card because we are going a little bit below. But the goal is to get out not only even, but in the green by $1,000. So ideally we would have pre-sold enough to not ever dip below 0, but this is real life, right? So what we did next, after we fulfilled all the orders, made sure all of our orders were delivered. In this case they all were, which we're very thankful for. We shipped out on Tuesdays because we did ground shipping. So that gives you 4 days. Everything arrived within 2 days. So we did a Tuesday and then we did the next Tuesday. Altogether 5 orders, $2,700 of beef. Okay, so next steps. We took what was left. If you watch the first video, you know we try to pre-sell basically ground beef because we know we can dial in how much ground beef we get. That worked out great, and we were down to maybe 2 or 3 pounds left over after selling about 225 pounds of ground beef. So it got tight, but we made it. So what we have left is steaks and roasts and stew beef and bones and beef shank. So a couple items there. What we did next, we pulled everything out of the freezers. We counted them up into crates. We put all of those numbers on a spreadsheet. And what we're able to do there is we're able to get the total amount of weight per category, but also the individual cuts. Now, the first thing we always do is we put all those individual cuts on the website. Best case scenario, in my opinion, is that everybody goes on there and buys the individual cuts they want. And this way we're able to charge the highest retail price. How do we get the retail price? We do a little retail arbitrage. So go to some stores, figure out what they're selling stuff for, but also we compare to people in our niche, right? So we are a grass finished operation. We're able to sell for a premium. So we look at other grass finished operations, see what they're doing, and try to find some averages, right? So wanted to get those things out into the world, on the World Wide Web as soon as we can. We did that. We got all those cuts up there. But typically what happens is there's not a lot of movement at first. So then we want to do some sales or do some bundles or do some sort of a promotion in order to move all this out. And you'll find some of these lesser known steaks and lesser known cuts don't move if sold by themselves. So it's another good reason for bundles. But how do we know what our best price is? Well, what we need to do is doing this spreadsheet, figure out what our cost is right now, figure out what our potential retail price is, like what's the high end, okay? And then I'm going to figure in our red number, right? So how far are we from breaking even right now? You guys know that, I don't know that right now, but it's this number right here. We're gonna say, okay, we need this, plus we need that $1,000 profit that we talked about, right? As you guys know, we're gonna try and generate $1,000 that we can donate to St. Jude when we go down there in July. So anyway, we're gonna take that number, we're gonna divide that across these cuts and see if we can dial them in. For example, ribeye is gonna be like 50% more than chuck roast or something, right? So we're gonna get those averages in and try to pull these numbers out of these cuts. Hopefully they'll still be realistic numbers at that point. And that's what we're gonna use to make bundles and sales and that sort of thing going forward. So that's the update to date. We are currently sitting at this number, and we hope to get to $1,000 in the green. We're working on it, and according to our challenge, we have until July to do that. So this is the end of May, so we got a little time. We got about a month. Make sure you're subscribed. Also, if you want to be a part of that $1,000 donation we're doing to St. Jude, we do have t-shirts for sale on shopmrbeef.com. 100% of the proceeds does go to St. Jude. So follow along. We're going to try and sell the rest of this beef, pull that profit, and then get to St. Jude and donate that $1,000. Thank you so much for watching, and tune in next time.